to people. It's the first thing I say. I have nothing else. I write songs. I play guitar. And that's it. It's not much of a life, but it's mine. And I'm keeping it. So I'm making this video to try to help other people when it comes to writing songs and learn how to play the guitar. I'm not real good at it, but I get by. First, I'd like to explain what I feel about music, what I feel music is. See, in this world, there is something I like to call the big song. It's all the sounds we hear, it's all the music we listen to, it's all the noise that surrounds us every day. And as a musician, we take from this song, and we take parts from here, and we take parts from there, and we learn what we can, and we use what we learn. And hopefully, one day, our gift is to give back to the big song, so we become part of it ourselves. There are lots of forms of music. Many of them don't use the guitar, and of course I'm not including those. There are some basic forms of music that are used on the electric guitar. I play strictly electric. That's my choice. There's blues, rock, and metal. That's what I play. That's what a lot of people play. Especially because the electric guitar lends itself to those types of music. All of them are fine. They all have their own strengths when it comes to learning music, learning how to play the guitar, and learning how to write songs. They all have different techniques, but all together they are still wound together as one technique, your technique. And it's your job as a guitar player to develop your own style. That's where the blues comes in. The blues is a old, simple, complex music. The blues are where you're going to get your touch, your feel, and your own sound. Because most of the blues, besides being the scales, like the pentatonic, the blues are where you're going to get your bends, your vibrato, like so. Now, rock music. Rock music is basically just the blues sped up with more chords and less single notes, less scales. That's pretty much rock music. Play it fast. say last. The last one I used, the first one I learned, was metal. Why? Because that was what I was into. That's what I'm still into. Metal. Metal's simple and it's complex. It has elements of the blues and it has elements of rock. It also has a distinct element of classical music. Because in metal, you use lots of scales. Not just the pentatonic. You use major scales, minor scales, and then there's arpeggios. And all of that is weaved into making metal. It's pretty simple. Metal is usually fast. It's heavy. It usually has something it wants to say. Who doesn't? Years of practice, mix those together, you make your own style. It might sound like someone else's, but if you're playing it, it's yours. Now about lyrics. Lyrics are hard to write. They take a lot of thought and a lot of effort. But some of the best lyrics you'll write will take little thought and little effort. I mean, that sounds weird. But sometimes a simple song with a little hook and cliche lyrics go the furthest. The fewer words, the better. You don't have a lot to say? You would say it in very, very few. If you're really intent on writing that song that means a lot to you, you have to write it from what you know. Write it from who you are, what you've been through, and what you've learned through this journey that you go through that everybody calls life. That's where the best lyrics come from. Real lyrics that mean something. Because the person who wrote them, the person who's playing the song, lived it and then wrote about it. Just like a book, and just like a movie, just like a painting. The person who saw it painted it. The person who lived it wrote it. The person who lived it played it. And that's where your feeling is going to come from. Meaning it, by knowing it, by living it. And last but not least, this is the hardest one for most people, including myself, to understand. Practice. Practice again and again and again. Don't care if anyone's listening. Don't care if anyone's watching. But practice. Any chance you have to get to go play your songs, go play them. If you mess up, oh well. Most people who aren't musicians won't even be able to tell. And the ones of those who are, well, they'll understand because they've been right there. Practice. Perform. Any chance you get. And your songs will get better. And you will grow. Thank you.